Let's talk weather for a couple minutes. I want to tell you about the development that's happening right now. So the time right now that we are streaming this is at 12:45, and we're going to continue to see the amount of storms that are popping up, Matt, double, even triple over the next couple of hours because we have the prime ingredients. We have a lifting mechanism that's a front and a little low pressure system. It's driving up all that heat and humidity, leading to scattered showers and thunderstorms. So let's get right to it. Here's what's happening right now. Notice what has developed over the last hour. There wasn't really anything, but then we're seeing one storm turn to two and two turn to four. This is the classic setup where outflow boundaries will flow out from one shower or thunderstorm and lead to another one. So right now we are seeing some pretty decent rain rates from these. The one I just recently measured, this one right here around Norwood in the eastern side of Stanley County. So the main point I have here is that any one of these showers or thunderstorms might not last that long. Maybe about 20 to 30 minutes is really at the upper level, but they're really going to be some big time rainmakers where right now at one point you could have close to 1.5 to 2 inches per hour come down with those cells from cell to cell. And the most recent rain rates that we had just about 15 minutes from this was even less than that. So they quickly pop up and then they'll exhaust themselves. So what we're seeing right now on the map, I think, is going to only multiply. So what I'm going to bring up here is the 6-hour outlook of what these thunderstorms could do, showing that they start to pop up at this point, bubbling around, and then eventually will outflow. So here's a better look at this next model. You're seeing showers and thunderstorms start to develop off towards the southeast and another one develop off towards the northwest. The reason why we're seeing that is because of this front. That little low is spawning everything from the north and just to the south, and then eventually everything is going to meet together right along the front across the Charlotte area. So let's go hour by hour. Right now we see storms to the north, and those are really going to expand because we've seen a little bit more sunshine up there. So here is 2:30, seeing scattered showers and thunderstorms starting to creep into the area. The ones right in the mountains will start to work their way close to that other activity right around 4:85. Once you get about 5 o'clock, still seeing scattered activity, but it's really from 5 to 7. I think a lot of this activity is going to be getting out of here, and by the time the sun sets, this is all going to be past and gone. So I already mentioned up the flooding possibility. We had a similar setup on Monday, and this was a picture that we had from Brad Panvich's Twitter page. This was Independence Boulevard. Tremendous amount of water came down at once, so those rain rates that we're already seeing just from a few individual cells popping up 2 inches per hour, this could happen in some poor drainage areas such as the low-lying roads across Charlotte. And you know who you are if you have one of those floodable backyards or roads that constantly flood whenever we get these rains. As far as your severe weather potential is going, I don't think you're really going to have anything widespread. It's on the cloudier side. We haven't seen a lot of sunshine. I think the better chance is going to be from the mountains and the foothills because you saw more sun in the rest of the area. So you have higher thunderstorm fuel values or CAPE values compared to the rest of the area. But we'll still keep an eye on that you will have that potential. So high temperatures today, lower to the mid-80s and the 70s for the mountains. And going forward, we are expecting our lows to start to increase as well as our high temperatures, where lows leveling out about 70 degrees, and then we're back to the upper 80s, where the new average high, by the way, is up to 90 degrees for this day in climatology, and we hold that until the first third of August. And it really isn't until closer to 4th of July that we should be returning to the lower 90s. Before I go, I want to talk about the tropics. Still waiting on Bonnie. What's going on? So we have the necessary wind speeds to make this a tropical storm, but it doesn't have the well-defined center of circulation. Once that happens and once that changes, maybe later on today, this officially will be Tropical Storm Bonnie, and the current forecast is to have this almost clear of South America by about Friday heading into the weekend, and it could be making landfall by about Friday p.m. in Nicaragua, and that is going to be a quick moving system. You see, it's just going to be absolutely flying through, so at least it's going to limit some of the amount of flooding. But then a slow moving system right off the Texas shoreline now has a 40% chance to develop. Really, if it doesn't do that today or tonight, it's not going to do anything. It's going to make landfall. So still pretty disorganized, but a decent rainmaker for right along the Texas coast. Ending with the 7-day forecast. Well, as I mentioned, the upper 80s to the lower 90s. This is the end of June, beginning of July forecast that is very typical here in the Charlotte area. The one thing that to mention is that tomorrow we might have an isolated storm chance. After that, going forward, it's more scattered. So the forecast that we have today, it'll become scattered through the day, and then by about 4th of July, has an elevated rain chance because a front could be draped across the area, kind of like what we have today. So what you're expecting this afternoon could happen again on the 4th of July. So get ready for that active forecast. I'm meteorologist Chris Mulcahy. Thank you so much for joining us. Live streaming, we'll be back at 4 o'clock on the news here on WCNC. Looking forward to see you then.